Oh, it's been a very long while since I've recorded a video in my series tracking my 75 hard progress. And yeah, there's reasons for that. I've had a hectic couple of weeks. The first week of Feb, I think I had to go to my wife's grand's house. She was just gravely ill. And I'm so grateful that we did go because it would be the last time that we'd go. I think my mom in law was intending on going the following Friday because we went on the 8th of Feb, I think. Yeah, we went on the 8th of Feb, and she had intended on going on the 15th of Feb. And my wife's grand passed away on the Thursday of that week, so I think it was the 13th. She passed away on the 13th. So I'm very grateful that we went. By the way, if you hear that my voice is a bit deeper, yeah, I've had a bit of an issue with my voice lately. I don't know what's happening. I think I caught something in the weeks um, prior, and it's been having an effect on my voice. I feel a bit tired. I might be coming down with something, or I might have come down with something, and I'm fighting through. But, anyways, we went on the 8th, and yeah, it was a very tough moment, but it was a very good one as well. I think it's very hard to see someone at that stage of their life, because my wife's grand was 92. It's very hard seeing someone at that stage of their life where you love the person, but you can see that it's the beginning of the end. And you can hear from their own rhetoric that they're ready to go. And I think the consolation is that they've lived a full life. I mean, my wife's grand had her own children, grandchildren, even great grandchildren. There was a moment where we had visited her prior, and it was my wife's grand, my mom in law, so my wife's mom, and then my wife, and then my daughter. And I was just looking at how beautiful that was to see effectively four generations of women being together. And it's such a blessing to get to that stage of life. So that's what happened on the 8th. That week, the following week, a friend of mine had a tragic loss of his father as well. So we had to show up for that. And I was just going through an interview process at a new role that I would be starting, and thank God that was successful because I'm gonna start the role soon. And so it's just been a hectic couple of weeks, and I still had to do the 75 hard challenge. The great thing, and I'm very grateful about this, is that through it all, we've managed to keep it up. And I am going to talk about how we managed to do that, specifically in the area of workouts, because I think I've mentioned the water part, and um, gosh, I can't even remember some of the things that I've said about 75 hard. It just feels like it's been such a long journey. But I'll talk more about the workout part, particularly because there's something that I noticed as the days wore on in the challenge that was very significant for myself and my wife included. So that's what happened on the 15th of Feb. And then last week, which was the weekend of Saturday the 22nd of Feb, was my wife's grand funeral. So it's at my wife's grand's funeral. So we'd gone. If you have any idea about the geography of South Africa, it's different provinces. So my wife is from the Eastern Cape, and I'm from KwaZulu Natal, which are two different provinces. Maybe if you're in the US, you probably look at it as different states. So it's different places, and you have about a 3 hour drive, 3 4 hour drive between the two. So We went there about midweek, and then we only came back on Sunday. We came back home on Sunday, so it was busy. It was really tough, and yeah, but we kept up the 75 hard challenge through it all. And so here I am at today's day 61. This morning was our weigh-in day, and at sub 90 in terms of my weight. I was on the upper end of, I was in the late 90s when I started. And by the way, weight loss, if you've heard me before, you may have. Weight loss wasn't really the purpose for me. The purpose was to support my wife, who was trying to use the challenge to lose a bit of the baby weight after a second pregnancy, but also to kickstart an active lifestyle. So that's the reason why I did the challenge in the first place. And yeah, it's been tough, very tough. She's walking in now. I just got disturbed there. My wife walked in while I was recording this video. So it's been a tough road, I'd say, but we managed to keep it up even through those ups and downs. I remember we had woken up at about 2 or 3 a.m. to go do our first workout so that we'd have that 3 hour gap between workouts, and we'll do our second workout in time for us to get to my wife's her house, that is, to get to her house at a reasonable time to go help out. So if you're familiar with how things go in most African cultures, when there's a funeral, there's just a lot that goes on, and there's a lot of manpower required to help out because it's a communal affair. It's a big funeral. I think at the funeral we probably had more than 500 guests. I would venture to say that 500 was probably less than what was there. So it was a big funeral if you come to think of it. And so yeah, how we managed to keep up the workout was planning ahead. Planning ahead was very key because we understood that our time was going to be required at the homestead where the funeral would happen. And so the preparation involved when we do our first workout and when we do our second workout. And when I say workout, if you read the 75hard.com FAQs, you'd find that workouts is anything that would make you break a sweat necessarily, basically. And that excludes stretching, by the way. So you couldn't do stretches. So we had to do second workouts, videos that we'd have gotten from YouTube, and even circuits that you design yourself. I think I made a circuit of 9 sets of 30 seconds on, 30 seconds rest, of basically ab workouts. So it was a crunching workout, which would be very difficult to do. It was challenging, but it was also easier to manage with the travel in terms of space, where we stay, etc. But we've also kept up the walking, even though we were away from home. I remember walking the streets of near where my wife grew up in the dark, in the early hours of the day, because we're trying to make sure that we get to the second workouts within that, after the 3 hour cooling period, basically. So that big takeaway for me was planning is important, but also the fact that if you want to go very hard throughout the challenge of 75 hard and you want to just do extra strenuous activities, then it might be difficult to finish the challenge, especially if you are like myself, a person who hadn't been working out for a while, and then you just kick off by going hard. It will be difficult to maintain because what I've noticed is that 75 hard takes a lot of energy from you. And so, because you have to do two workouts every day, you never really get a chance to rest. And I feel like my body needed that, because at this moment, I'm at a point where I'm having an internal battle. I hate the challenge right now because it's so challenging. I literally wake up and I think, why am I even doing this? But at the same time, I don't want to quit, because if I do quit, then it just nullifies all the effort that I've gone through in the previous 60 days. So it's that thing of, do I want to lose all the work that I've done coming to this point, including working out in the rain, or do I want to just stick it out, even though it's becoming, we always say with my wife in the past couple of weeks, it's becoming very annoying right now, because it's just so restrictive. You can't, even if you don't feel like drinking the water, sometimes it's very hard. And there was a time where I felt a bit sick. Um, because of the travel, the lack of sleep, my body was just almost shutting down. You still have to drink that gallon of water. You still have to go out and do that workout, whether you like it or not. And it's tough. And I think the big lesson is, it's not really about the physical activity, but it is about your mental state, how you go on to continue with the challenge, even though you have all these things that are saying quit. So it's been a satisfying journey, yes, but on the other hand, the longer you are in it, the more mentally challenging it becomes. So the big two takeaways that I can put down before I end this video and start my first workout of this day is to say, it's important to plan ahead, and it is also important to understand that it's not about what you do physically, it's about your mentality. And also planning out your workouts in a way that you will have variations of activities that will be demanding physically, and activities that will be relatively low impact that you can do. And also activities that are more versatile, in the sense that they don't depend on where you are. When you have an exercise mat, you can go on and do those exercises. But if you're someone who's got different targets, you've already been working out for a while, then you can just do what one of my friends did. He used to just go for a 5K walk or run throughout 75 hard, and he succeeded. But I think when you try to overcomplicate your workouts, you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, it becomes very taxing. It's very important for you to have just one thing or a couple of things that you fall back on that you can do, because there will be times where you go out there, like for me, you go out there and you work out, and then you have to continue with your day. I remember an instance where I still had to go out, do some yard work, do some work outside. Recently, I'm working on a boundary around my house, and I need to chop wood, well, cut wood, saw wood, because I've got this, long pieces of logs that I want to make into smaller pieces that I can use. So you do some things that are intensive physically, but you still have to come back and work out. And so you'll come back and you feel like, I'm spent. I don't even feel like doing this, but you still have to. So it's important then to plan yourself out in a way that you've got alternatives. You've got workouts that you can do, and workouts that will require you to exert yourself, yes, but the impact is much lower than what you otherwise would have. And for me and my wife, by extension, having prepared for a hike in mid-year this year, 2025, walking has been a big part of it. And prior to this challenge, I used to look down on walking, up until I did walking for a while, and I realized, first of all, my body's in pain, and secondly, I'm having bodily changes, like I'm losing weight, I'm gaining muscle just by walking. So it's very important for you to plan out your workouts in a way that will be sustainable, in a way that you can maintain the momentum, because that's what the key is, maintaining the momentum for 75 days. I've done it for 61. I can't speak for 75 days yet, but I can speak for the fact that 75 hard is taxing, it's challenging mentally. It's very important to have people who are in your corner supporting you and cheering you on throughout the journey because it is tough, but it is doable. I've done it for 61 days straight and I'm gunning for 75 days. And after the 75 days, I've made a decision. I'm never doing it again. And also, I'm not doing any challenge that is going to be this restrictive for this long. I'm done. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.